Yo, and we're live with Daniel 5. I really like when it rhymes. Okay. So, King Nebuchadnezzar. He had this weird dream, something about something bad happening, whatever. He'd be cut down, eating the grass of the field like the oxen, something, something. Let's read Daniel 5. It was kind of confusing, but let's just get into and see what's going on here. So, Belteshazzar. Oh, no, sorry. Not Belteshazzar. Belshazzar. Different person. Phew, almost got confused. Belshazzar the king made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. So what happened to Nebuchadnezzar? Belshazzar, whilst he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of God, which was at Jerusalem, and the king and his princes and wives and concubines drank in them. They drank wine, and praised the gods of gold, and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone. And the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. Came forth fingers of a man's hand? Was it attached to a man? And wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall. And wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. So he just saw a hand, he didn't see a human. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loosed, and his knees smote one against another. The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans. I really have to find out what Chaldeans is. What are Chaldeans? What is Chaldeans in the Bible? A violent group that captured the Jews as a manifestation of the wrath of God. Inspired? There's a specific semi-nomadic tribe that lived in the southern part of Babylon. Who lived in Ur of the Chaldeans, home to a specific tribe known as the Chaldeans. Intelligent and sometimes aggressive warlike people. Interesting. Good to know. Okay, so there's some Chaldeans that were kings. So I guess they were like, elevated society folk. Intelligent, I suppose. The astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, Whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. Then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof. Then was King Belshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance was changed in him, and his lords were astonied. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banquet house, and the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Long live the king, essentially, right? Let not thy thoughts trouble thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. There is a man in thy kingdom, in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And in the days of thy father light and understanding and wisdom. Is Belshazzar the son of Nebuchadnezzar? Like the wisdom of the gods was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar thy father, the king, I say, thy father, made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers. For as much as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpreting of dreams, and showing of hard sentences, and dissolving of doubts, were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belteshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation. Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spake and said unto Daniel, Art thou that Daniel, which are of the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of Jewry. Jewry? Sounds racist. That's gotta be racist. I have even heard of thee, that the spirit of the gods is in thee, and that light and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in thee. And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof, but they could not show the interpretation of the thing. And I have heard of thee that thou canst make the interpretations. And thou canst make interpretations and dissolve doubts. Now, if thou canst read the writing, canst means can, which is kind of weird because it's one letter away from can't. And make known to me, well, can and can't are one letter away too, but still, that one has the T. And make known to me the interpretation thereof. Thou shalt be clothed with scarlet, and have a chain of gold about thy neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. Then Daniel answered and said before the king, Let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king, and make known to him the interpretation. So he's like, listen, keep your gifts. I'll tell you. I'll help you anyway. Now that's a nice guy. And thou, king, the Most High God gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom, and majesty, and glory, and honor, and for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, languages, trembled and feared before him. Whom he would, he slew. Whom he would, he slew. And whom he would, he kept alive. And whom he would, he set up, and whom he would, he put down. But when his heart was lifted up, and his mind hardened in pride, he was deposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him, and he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beasts, and his dwelling was with the wild asses. They fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven. Yeah, this is all true things. This was like the dream from before. Till he knew that the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appointed over it whomsoever he will. And that he appointeth over it whomsoever he will. I'm guessing it's referring to God, even though it's not a capitalized H. Sometimes they do it in modern days, but in the Bible, I don't think they always do it. And thou, his son, O Belshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart. Uh-oh, come on, Daniel. I mean, it's a king, and I understand you're saying true things, but it's still scary. Though thou knewest all this, but hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven. I mean, he was thinking the God of silver and gold and wood and stone. And they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives, and thy concubines have drunk wine in them. And thou hast praised the gods of, hey, like I was just saying a second ago, thou hast praised the gods of silver and gold, brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the God in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways. Hast thou not glorified? Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written. Okay, so the hand was from God, and this is the writing that was written. Here we go. And this is the writing that was written. And this is the writing that was written. Sent from him, and this is the writing that was written. And this is the writing that was written. Mean, tekel, Medo-Persian. Okay. I don't know what the heck that means. This is the interpretation of the thing. Mean, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting. Paris, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Oh, that's wild. That is wild. That is literally an interpretation right there and a prophecy on top of that. Yeah, it was given to the Medes and the Persians. That was the lesser empire. Which, was it lesser? I gotta look up. How big was the Babylonian Empire? 19 million square miles in size. Oh, that is pretty huge. Tell them by the map. Okay. How big was the uh, Persian Empire? So 19 million square miles, right? 2 million only? Wait, 90 million square miles. 2 million square miles. Medes Persian Empire. Medo-Persian Empire. With Medo and Persian, 5.5. So I just thought the Persian Empire was greater. Okay, well, the interpretation of the head of something, the chest of brass, head of gold, whatever it was going down, it was the Babylonian Empire, followed by the Persian Empire, followed by the Greek, followed by the Roman. So head, chest, legs, and feet, and whatever, legs and thighs and legs. And the feet were still of iron and clay, which is part Roman, part... But Israel was ruled by the Romans for some time, and I don't know what that and even modern interpreters don't know entirely what it means. Mean, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting. Paris, thy kingdom is divided and given unto the Medes and the Persians. Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet and put a chain of gold about his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. And that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain, and Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old. King Darius, we know of King Darius. He was kind to the Jews. Somewhat. Because at some point he was going to kill all the Jews, I think. But I don't know if that was King Darius or the one that came after him. Wow, so that was quick. So we have King Nebuchadnezzar. He went in the fields, ate the grass, yada yada. King Belshazzar, slain. Was he slain by King Darius? No, it doesn't say that, but Darius, the Median, took the kingdom being about 62 years old. Okay. King Cyrus. What about King Cyrus of Persia? Because he was a big one too. Okay. Here we go. Daniel 6. Oh no. If you guys have read this and you kind of know what the story is, this is what I was kind of waiting for. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give account unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him. And the king thought to set him over the whole realm. No. The king thought to set Daniel over the whole realm? Well, that's wild. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king, and said thus unto him, King Darius, long live the king. King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, and the governors, and the princes, the counselors, and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute, and to make a firm decree, that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, O king, establish the decree, and sign the writing, that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Wherefore King Darius signed. Wherefore? What does wherefore mean again? Wherefore meaning for what reason and purpose? Why? Therefore. Wherefore. So therefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open, in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day, and prayed, and gave thanks before his God. And he did as he did aforetime, as he did beforehand. Then these men assembled, and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. Then they came near, and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree? Well, of course he did. You were there when he signed it. That every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into a den of lions? The king answered and said, The thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they and said before the king, That Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled unto the king, and said unto the king, Know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is, that no decree nor statute which the king establisheth may be changed. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel, and cast him into the den of lions. Now, with the fact that it says he was sore displeased with himself, means he kind of liked Daniel, and I don't think he wanted to do it. And when it says he wanted to deliver him from danger, possibly, I don't know. That's what it seems like to me. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel, and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. Oh, good. So, that's nice. King Darius, good guy. Besides throwing Daniel into the lion's den. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet, and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace, and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. So this guy there, he was upset. He was like, that's my boy, Daniel. I hope he's okay. Then the king arose very early in the morning, and went in haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God whom thou servest continually able to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. It's like a common greeting, I guess. My God hath sent his angel, and hath shut the lions' mouths, that they have not hurt me, for as much, they could still maul you. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Then was the king exceeding glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. Amen. That's beautiful. I wish I could highlight this. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives, and the lions had the mastery of them, and brake all their bones in pieces, or ever they came at the bottom of the den. Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations and languages that dwell in the earth, Peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. He delivereth and rescueth, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth, who hath delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius, and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Wait, was it Darius the Median in the previous text? Darius the Median, and then Cyrus the Persian, because it was a Medo-Persian empire, as we read before. So Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. How long did Daniel live? It seems like a long time. But that's great. That was great reading. I'm really happy about that. So this weekend we had, what's today? Sunday. Friday we read 2. Did we read 2 Friday? I mean, it feels like a great weekend. I just feel very blessed to be reading Daniel. It's an excellent book. I'm just really appreciating it. Might be my favorite. So anyway, that's all for today. God bless you all abundantly. God bless me abundantly. And God willing, we'll be together soon. In Jesus' name, amen.